Hey student, watch this video if you want to learn the difference between although and but. Coming up. Hey friends, Teacher Prix here with another tip for you, another lesson. And in this lesson, I'm going to talk to you about the difference between although and but in English. So hey, if it's your first time here, consider subscribing because every week from Monday to Friday, I post different lessons to help you become a better English speaker. So now let's get down to business because today we are going to talk about but and although. It's a very important lesson, so make sure to grab a piece of paper, a pen or a pencil or your phone and take some notes. Nice. Now the first thing you need to know is both but and although are conjunctions, and you can use them to give the idea of contrast. However, but and although will be used in different parts of your phrases, okay, and of your clauses. And the idea is also a little bit different. So here the first thing you need to know, they both can describe the idea of contrast. They connect phrases, okay? They connect two clauses and they are going to give you the idea of contrast. However, this idea of contrast is a little bit different between but and although, and the position is also a little bit different. So these two things are very important, and that's what I want to show you in today's lesson. Now, let's take a look at but. We use but to show a contrast, as I said, but it's an unexpected result or is a result that contrasts your expectation. It's a result in contrast to our expectation, to something we wanted, okay? Another important thing is that but will usually connect two phrases that are in the same grammatical type. So this is very important, present and present, past and past. So this is very common when you use but, connecting phrases that are in the same grammatical type. Okay, so here we have the sequence. So you have the main idea, phrase one, the one idea, the important idea of your phrase, the main idea. And then you have the but phrase, okay, the contrast clause, all right? For example, I like sports. That's the main idea, clause one, phrase one. Now I will contrast and I will start with but. I like sports, but I don't have time to practice. So this is a contrast. This is an expected result. Well, you like sports, so you should practice, but I don't have time. So this is always the position of but. You start with the main idea, clause one, and then you include but and the contrast, but I don't have time. Now, the next example. My last weekend was busy, simple past. My last weekend was busy, but I could get some rest. So you said it was busy, so I imagine you wouldn't have time to rest, but you did. You had time to rest. So the second phrase will always contrast the first one. It's always an unexpected result. If you're busy, you don't really have time to rest. But here the person could. My last weekend was busy, but I could get some rest. Now, again, this is the position of but. You have the main idea, and then you have the contrast idea with but. Moving on, my friends. Now, although. Although is a different kind of conjunction, okay? You use although to show a situation that has a surprising result, okay? So here, remember that but is usually an unexpected result. You are not expecting. But here it's kind of a surprising result, okay? And you will connect two sentences too. Now here is where it gets interesting. You have the main idea, phrase one, the main idea of your sentence, and then you will have a second clause, the contrast clause that you will connect with although. For example, I had a great time with my family, although it rained all weekend. So I had a great time with my family. Now comes the surprise. Although it rained all weekend. So here you can observe that there is an example before this one, and I am changing the position. This is possible with although. That's a big difference between although and but. But you cannot start a sentence with but. And here with although, you can play with the position. You can start with the contrast phrase, with the contrast clause, and then say the main idea clause. So here, although it rained all weekend, I had a great time with my family. So you see, I started with the surprising clause, with the contrast clause, and then I went to the main idea. I had a great time with my family. Or I can start with the main idea. I had a great time with my family, although it rained all weekend. Okay, so it has a surprising result because if it's raining all weekend, it's kind of hard to imagine that you're going to have any spectacular time with your family going out. But I don't give details here. Okay, so this is the idea of although, and you see the position changes a little bit. Now, as I told you, but and although are conjunctions, but they are used in different ways. As I told you before, I cannot start with but the same way I can start with although. So it rained a lot, but we still had a great time. I cannot say, but it rained a lot, we still had a great time. You can't do that. It's not possible. Only with although you can play with main idea and contrast or contrast main idea. Okay? With but, you cannot do that. All right? So, although is the best option if you want to invert the position of the sentences. Start with the contrast and then go to main idea, or start with main idea and then go to contrast with although. So here, although it rained a lot, we still had a great time. We still had a great time, although it rained a lot. Now, an important thing, although can sound a little bit more formal in spoken language, although it's very commonly used in writing, okay, when you're writing something. However, you listen to people using although in conversations, and you can use but in conversations too, it's okay. Now, though, which is a variation of although, is very popular in spoken language, and it has pretty much the same idea of although. Okay, so this is something for you to pay attention. Many English learners use but all the time. So try changing a little bit and using although. Just pay attention at the sequence you are going to use. It gives the idea of a surprising result, and but gives the idea of an expected result. And but has a little bit of a limitation here when it comes to the position. You always have to start with the main idea, and then you go and complement the idea with the contrast with the but sentence. Okay, now although is very common, people use although. It is more common in writing, but you will listen to a lot of native speakers in movies, videos, conferences, meetings using although in conversations as well. But if you want a little bit more informal version, you can use though, no problems. Excellent, my friends. Your homework of today is to write two phrases. One will use although, the other will use but. So you have to write two examples, one with but and one with although. If you have any questions, you can always post in the comments and I'll be more than glad to help you. Other than that, my friends, I forgot to say it, but if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and share it with your buddies. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye!